Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of True Dungeon Talk with Trent. My name is Trent of TrentTokens.com. I'm a big fan of the game called True Dungeon and a very avid collector of tokens, which you can see back here. I just said it's a special episode is because this is going to be a new series that we're going to be putting on the YouTube channel. It's the 20th True Dungeon 20th Anniversary Retrospective. I might change the title because that word is kind of hard to say, but we'll see. So just work with me. We'll see how far we get. We're going to talk about the beginning years. So we'll see how far we get in today's show. And then we're going to do this for the rest of the year in 2023. But without further ado, let's talk to the man, the myth, the legend, the creator of True Dungeon, Jeff Martin. Say hello to Jeff.
Hello. Hey, guys. I'm not hearing your audio, Trent.
You're not hearing my audio?
I'm not hearing the clap. I didn't hear your music either.
Oh, really? Do you hear? You don't hear the audience right now?
Correct.
All right. So people in chat, can you hear me? Is it just Jeff? You were hearing me before. I've got all my audio thing. We hear you. No, Jeff. It might be your speakers. Or
I can hear you. I just couldn't hear the background music.
Oh, okay. Oh, well then that's okay. So I hear you, you can hear me, they can hear me. Can you guys, and Belinda says she can hear both. So there we go. Good enough. Good enough for government work, as they say. So thank you, Jeff, for joining. I really appreciate it. And I think this is going to be a very fun episode for people to look back on and see the history of True Dungeon. And we're going to start at the very, very beginning. But before I do that, let's say hello to some people in the chat here. Mr. Timothy Tom. Hello, Joshua and Gilstrife, Belinda, Chris Samir, Snake Eyes. And yeah, so hello, everybody. And everybody can hear us. So that's good. All right, so Jeff, the first thing I want to ask about is what's that behind you? Let's bring you into a single shot here.
Oh yes.
What is that?
That is it's a very cool place. I just like this is the Tomb Nexus that you will be having a lot of fun with over the next several months. This is the beginning of several adventures to come. At the end of the last virtual adventure, you are able to go through that door. You can see right over there.
Yeah.
The first dungeon inside. So we'll see how what happens after you open that door. For people who did the first one, this was the end. You're presented with these three doors, a very enticing next step. So I'm excited to see how this gets into. All right. I'm gonna do a little cheating here. Don't tell John. He's probably
okay. I won't tell John. Actually, let me put you into a single here.
There's actually 6 doors.
What?
Crazy. Anyway.
Oh my God. No way. Wow. So yeah, I from the video exit, you think it's 3 doors, so there's 6.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, maybe?
Who knows?
Maybe? Anybody?
Who knows?
Nobody gives us any love in here. All right, speaking of the last month, that was the beginning, Tomb of Terror, Chapter 1. And actually before that, there was the prelude for patrons. Yeah. By the way, that was just ridiculous fun. For anyone who hasn't done patron runs before, I highly recommend you do it. I mean, we were fighting bread and just all kinds of nut stuff. It was great fun. So kudos to whoever came up with that insanity.
You had to face the unbread.
The unbread, right. Oh, so silly. And then there was, so the beginning of was Chapter 1. How was Chapter 1? How was the feedback? I mean, did you think it was a good thing?
Yeah, we're experimenting and we're trying out some different stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of fun having this room as the central nexus for the next several adventures and finding out what's behind each door. Each is a different kind of cool adventure, self-contained, but they're all kind of linked together on the grand, story arc of trying to recover the treasure from the semi-lich.
Very cool. So Yeah, Tom says the Nagleys were so good in Chapter 1. Yeah, they were basically owning Chapter 1. They were Chapter 1.
Yeah, Galen's got his swan song. He's now restored. You guys did all your good stuff for him, and he gave you a nice little map or a nice little gem to use to get into the first one.
Yeah, it was really good. The puzzles were great. People who may not know, I'm not so great with puzzles. That's usually just play barbarian and hit the door instead of trying to figure out how else to open it. But the puzzles were great and a lot of fun in this one. I mean, this was just the first one. Imagine what's to come. A lot of people are saying, TB, what's up, Trent? Good to see you. Roz? Is that you, Roz? Roz from LA? Oh my God, what's up, man? Yeah, so Tom says the Nagleys were great. John says the Nagleys knocked it out of the park. Tom has a question. John loves the puzzles. Snake Eye says dollar and rings for everyone. Yeah. So speaking of question, yeah, please type in question and then whatever, and then the question so I can spot it with my eyeballs. So we got a question right off the bat here from Tom. Question, were there any classic adventure reprisals in Chapter 1?
Jeez. So I'm getting old, so I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Maybe someone from the chat could answer that.
I know. Yeah, ask Raven. She would know.
Ask Raven.
I know there's some scattered in the next ones for sure.
Okay. So speaking of the next one, Chapter 2 is next, and that's next weekend, right? Got to get it over here. Wow, pretty excited about that one. Tickets are still. I don't know how many tickets are available. But hopefully
about
there's
100 or so, 150 maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, get out there, people. Get these tickets. And speaking of tickets, I'm sure we all know who's listening live, but for the other people who might catch this later, the tickets are usually sold a couple of months in advance. Like tomorrow, this is being shot on Saturday, so tomorrow on Sunday, which will be February the 12th, tickets for Chapter 4, is that it? Yeah, Chapter 4 will be available. So lock those in and you'll be able to get your preferred time. And John says they got the door to many doors on the first try. That's impressive. Yeah, that one was tough. I love the door of many doors. That was just super cool.
Saw that years ago. The first V2, I think.
The Yeti Cave.
Yeah. So you had to wait a while to see what was behind there, but eventually you did.
Yeah, even that adventure was kind of, or that particular moment was kind of cool because not often do we stop and take a break and and go to sleep. So I thought that was kind of a nice mix-up in how things are run. But speaking of old reprisals, this is the 20th anniversary this year. It started in 2003, but prior to 2003, or maybe in 2003, you did something called JefCon, which was the inspiration for True Dungeon. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
So what I have, Jeff sent me, for everybody listening, hi everybody, Jeff sent me some photos and a couple of videos, and I'm not going to play the sound of the videos, but some of the videos are basically kind of like home movies, so they're a little long. So we're going to jump around and see some things from yesteryear. So the first thing I'm going to show you is JefCon, and let's go ahead and pull this up. And here we go. So, Jeff, narrate for us. So tell us what we're seeing here.
Well, every year I would have a get-together with some friends, a game of friends. Carbondale is like a university town, so there are a lot of people come and go over the years, and we try to pick one weekend a year. Originally, it was called Giant City Con because we had it there originally, but everybody called it JefCon, and so I renamed it the second year of that. These are some of the fine folks. Oh, there is Peter Exton. He's was the owner or the CEO of Gen Con this time. And you passed by, Stefan was there, but he was talking to Stefan. This is in March of 2003, but at Essen a little earlier in the year, he was talking to Stefan there in Germany at the big Essen show. It's a big game show, huge. And he was saying, "Hey, I'm moving to Indianapolis for the first time. I'm going from Milwaukee, where we were all cramped, didn't have any room, to Indianapolis. We have all these hotel rooms and or ballrooms and stuff. So I'm looking for a big event to put in there because I want to have like a cool big event." So there's Stefan right there in the middle, and he's like, "I know this
black
guy.
Shirt. Yeah.
I know this guy. He might be able to do it. I've gone to his little weekend gaming thing that's called JefCon, and yeah, we have a great time. And he builds these like puzzles and stuff, real puzzles, real props, that kind of stuff. And he might be able to pull something together." So we talked on the phone, me and Peter, and I sent him a scroll tube, really old looking scroll tube, and an invitation. And I also put some Chinese firecrackers in there so they were trapped. It's pretty cool. Exploded on him. That was pretty crazy to do, but I wanted to make an impression. So he thought it was amazing, and he jumped on a plane and came to JefCon not long after. And we this is the award ceremony going on. I tried to make it as fun, as cool as possible. I mean, nice little plaques up for all the different events we had. But some of the people that you saw there, they were the people that came along later and helped me do the first True Dungeon. So I wanted to show them. There's my older brother. He won something. I'm not sure what. Something on the towel. Maybe he threw in the towel. I'm not sure. Who knows? But anyway, we had some jokey awards as well. Yeah, there we go. There's Lori. You saw Lori briefly.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to have Peter come along, and we the little bit before this, me and him went next door to the hotel. There was a Bob Evans, and we sat down and we hashed over the whole True Dungeon thing. Had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, "Hey, you played." There he is in the middle, taking photos again, back before cell phone cameras were a thing. But had a good time. And anyway, that all True Dungeon was decided that first year over pancakes and waffles, I think, over next door at Bob Evans. He agreed to, I think he gave, funded us like $5,000 to pay for all the walls and props and stuff. And that was March, and we knew that it was going to be I think it was the end of July that year, right at the end of July. So, but let's look at some, if you got time, we can look at some photos maybe.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. I'm going to grab, so I have some photos of JefCon here. Give me one quick second to pull this up.
But anyway, it was like, here's Peter and Stefan. We had one of the probably the biggest event was the Dungeons and Dragons tournament, and I think it was first edition at that time. And they all got some cool plaques, and his team won. Involved in that year, that was the first year I really went crazy. I only did have props, but I rented out a very small little suite and took all the furniture out, and I brought in wooden walls and screwed them all together. It took all night. And I made a secret door that opened up into this other thing where you got to interact with a big, like, life-size puzzle. So once he saw that, the next day is when we had our big pancake meeting over at Bob Evans. He was like, "Come to Gen Con. This thing is crazy."
Wow. Crazy. How did he tell you how much space he was going to give you, or did you have any concept of how big it should have been?
No, at that time it was all just kind of, it was just two guys. The business side wasn't involved yet. He was going to say he didn't know. He's like, "I'll find you a space. Let's do something. I want to do something big scale." So yeah, it wasn't until probably the next month or so that we actually visited the site and they showed us the location.
And I think I think Lori said in her interview that she was standing with you, and the space was enormous, and she's asked something like, "Well, how in the heck are you going to fill up this whole space?" And I think you said, "I don't know." Yeah. Or you said, "I'll figure it out," maybe.
She looked at me and said, "You have no idea what you're doing, right?" And I said, "Yes, so we'll figure it out." But yeah, we had no idea how we were going to build the walls. We didn't had it. So anyway, as soon as that was over,
Now this goes into This starts Gen Con, so I'm going to let me go
How
back.
about we go through these photos right now, these prep ones, then we'll do the video. Probably makes more sense.
Yeah. So this starts the Gen Con. So you do JefCon, and then he says, "Okay, let's do Gen Con," and then off we go. Here we go. So now these are some Gen Con photos. The first Gen Con in 2003 in Indianapolis.
This is actually in my sign shop at the time. This is all these photos we're about to see are going to be just what we did to get ready for it. At the time, my sign shop was in the strip center, so I had like no workspace. This is actually out in the front yard, or out in the front showroom on the carpet.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like carpet. Oh my God.
Again, you just had to do what you had to do. And now later on, at the same time as all this was going on, I was trying to get True Dungeon ready for the first time. We were also building a building to move quick signs to my old sign shop. So this is actually filmed at the new place. This had no electricity at the time, and we just, were working during the day, and it was really hot because it was July in Southern Illinois.
Oh my God.
Not a great time, but yeah. And so here's some of the early prototype type stuff that we had. These are actually, and I think this is the first year, these are actually on the combat board.
Yeah.
They weren't hung on the wall. And you had these acrylic pieces that you had to slide off to, like somebody said, show me the plane of water. You actually had to slide a little acrylic.
Wow. This is super cool. Yeah. So for those people who understand the hanging signs, this is on the actual board or on the shuffleboard. So that's really cool. You can imagine that they changed their minds very quickly, because I'm sure that kind of held up the line from people trying to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, what are we looking at here?
This is the old cleric stuff. This is a prototype before we came up with the idea of beads.
So it's a prototype. Okay.
Yeah. This is what originally they were going to do, where they had to, but we were going to give them a bag full of this stuff, and they had to pull it out. But we figured it was going to be, people are going to lose pieces, and so we decided to do kind of a bead thing, which would be less.
Really cool.
So there's our first prototype combat board with the old type of sliders that were just like in geometric shapes, damage on the side. Yeah, we decided to test it out. We made laser cut those, had those laser cut somewhere, and then put vinyl on everything. And then we decided to have a party in the backyard. We lived out in the country, and invited some friends over, and we set up again, this was like July, super hot, but you can see in the next photo, I think, that there we are outside.
Yeah,
that was we had.
So cool.
We didn't have our room inside, so we were, and that was the first time anybody ever slid on a combat. And I'll never forget this thing, because it was hilarious. So we decided to have a contest who could slide the best and do the most damage.
Okay.
So basically, I think we said the armor class was 14, so you had to slide a 14 or better, and see who could do the most damage. And those guys went, and then I slid, and I slid a 20.
No.
My first slide ever was a 20.
Holy crap.
I think that's the last time I've slid, probably. So anyway, I'll never forget that one. But that was kind of a good omen, I think. And it was fun, and we were trying it out, bumping each other, and trying to help out. And we were trying to do a little play test in there, and a lot of drinking. So you can see my stand of green beans in the back. I think about 2 days later, it got mowed down by a deer.
Oh, anyway. Okay. That's an interesting side story. Tom says the old sliders are cool. Yeah, I have. And welcome, Jeff. I'm glad. Jeff Chandler. Chandler, good to see you.
Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler said he almost missed the show. The sliders are very cool. I have a set of those, and it's really cool to have something from way back when. So here you can.
Yeah, that was my idea, and then some other smarter person said a couple years later, hey, why don't you make them so you can put the token in there?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool. After the tokens came out, tokens didn't exist at this time, and I was like, hey, I'll steal that idea. That's a much smarter idea. So that was a great thing. That made it really fun. So.
Yeah. And here
all right,
is,
well,
what are we looking at?
Yeah. So this is after. We'll show a couple photos and maybe go to that video. But this is the Hyatt Celebration Hall. This is the front. It was 8,000 square feet altogether. At Indy, at Indy, the one that we're at now in Indy is like 55,000 square feet altogether. So it's a little smaller than the current one, but at the time it looked huge. Because it was, wow. I was used to doing a small little hotel room, and it went from maybe 600 square feet to 8,000. So it was a little crazy, but we managed to fill it up.
What a jump. That is nuts. Snake Eyes asked, was it Dave's idea, I guess, Radke, to put the token in the slider?
I don't know. It was somebody on the forums. It would be really great to look back and find out who made that. Probably several people did. It was probably just people were hanging out talking, and and then it somehow got to us. So yeah, it was a great idea. So that was I decided a long time ago to listen to the players because they're smarter than me and they're having fun, and they're gonna, their brains are going to be working on how to make it more fun, and I'm more the DM on how to build stuff. So yeah.
Well, that explains, at least I believe it explains, why the very early weapon tokens had no weapon wheel, because they weren't being slid.
Yeah, correct. Yep. They just told you.
I never put two and two together, being not, speaking of not being smart. I'm just kind of handsome. You can't be handsome and smart, right? So you understand.
So and this is how we did the ticketing. So because it was so last minute, and computer things were a little limited back then, Gen Con's ticketing system did not have us in there as an event. They had a lot of problems, like it was their first year at Indy. Man, there were some problems with missed events because the lines are long just to get their tickets from printed and picked up. They got it figured out soon. But what they told us was just sell your own tickets. You're not going to be in our system. We're going to be able to get you in the program book, but it's just going to be a page ad way in the back. And they used to have a listing, so nobody saw it, I don't think. Anyway, so we just, this is where I was like, well, we got to come up with tickets. I don't want to do paper tickets. Let's do something cool like wooden nickels, I guess. I just want something cool that people can keep as a keepsake, and also have our website on it. And so I thought, well, let's just do these. And these are just hand numbered.
Yeah. I think Lori wrote all these, right?
All the ones with capital letters are mine, because you can tell I always write in capital for some reason.
Okay.
But I think, yes, some of the other ones you can see, I think Mike Bergman's wife, who I can't remember her name, unfortunately, very nice lady, super awesome lady. I think she did some of the lettering as well on site.
Cool.
Because I think they came in literally like the week before we were scrambling.
Well, these are Mecca-like items now. I think many people call these time tokens. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Raven gave me one. I think that was how. I think I have a couple now, but I believe by the time I had gotten to know Raven a little better, they realized that I really was nuts about tokens, and I believe the first one she gave it to me, and I just lost my mind. So, this was an amazing thing. Now, Bridget, hello, Bridget. Speaking of Raven, Bridget says, Raven and I got up and were in line at 5 a.m. for the second day tickets. The first run where Dave TPK'd our group, started something, and here we are 20 years later. So if I'm not mistaken, Bridget, Raven, and a few other people still grouped together, and they met here, and they'll be going 20 years. I mean,
I guess I forgot to mention, too, the reason they had to get up and get in line was because we were just selling tickets for that day. Right. So on Thursday, you could only buy tickets for Thursday, because we we wanted to keep things simple and not get things confused. I also think it's because we didn't actually have Fridays numbered yet, lettered yet. Probably is the real reason. I don't know.
It's nuts. I mean, the time tokens are just amazing, and hearing these early stories about the lines, and there was no tickets, so word of mouth. I mean, how beautiful is that?
Yeah.
So here we have some photos of building, right?
Yeah, we can show more of these building ones. Yeah, so we were in the Hyatt. Anybody's never been there? It's basically got this giant atrium, and there wasn't really a good place. We just parked on the street and had to carry everything up broken escalators, and haul it in there by hand. And then we got some pipe and drape from the local guy, Bruce. He's an awesome guy. I've known him 20 years now. He's still super friendly and helpful.
Wow.
But eventually we bought our own pipe and drape, but they gave us those to use. And then here we are putting them up with zip ties. Remember the earlier picture I was showing where we were making the kind of the template, the spray mask. Here's the pieces once they're painted. And then everything was put up. We'd poke holes and put it up with zip ties. We hadn't come up with the idea of using Velcro yet, so it took a little longer to put up than the old way, but they didn't come down, that's for sure. And back then, we actually had archways. First year, they got banged up pretty good, so I think we didn't bring them back subsequent years.
It looks like this one might be a door here, the way it's kind of like the bottom seems open.
Yeah, it's an archway.
Oh, speaking of the archways, here we are.
Yeah. There's another archway. So this is what the front looked like. Wow. This was our fancy sign. Made it out of, took styrofoam, put lettering on it, and then hit it with acetone to like eat the foam away to make it look like rock. And then, there's the volunteer list where you could zoom in, you could see the names of all the volunteers we were thanking. And then there was
Warren,
we even advertised my business.
Mike, Steve, Tom, Aaron, Lori, and more. Yeah, pretty cool.
And then Stefan, Dwarven Forge, they gave away $1,000 for the grand prize. If you showed up to the award ceremony, you get $1,000 worth of Master Maze. So,
wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
Jeff Chandler says that the zip tie sucked, so he just wants to.
Yeah, I agree. That's yeah, they were.
So let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Yeah. So what are we looking at here?
Maybe we should go to the video now that we're into the.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Let me jump over to this here and give me a second here to get to the video. 1 second, everybody. Just I'll try to remember. So those are at the Cool Cups, if we can remember where that was. All right, so
so when we went to JefCon, the video you're going to see, what I think was taken by Lori with our little camcorder from 20-year-old technology, so it's a little rough. But you can see basically behind the scenes of us building the thing and then doing DM and training. Oh yeah, we're going to start with. This was like home movies, and then I took it to Gen Con and did it.
So
it looks like
who's this?
Drake. This is Drake Martin at about 18 months old, probably. Wow. No, he's 2 years old here, probably 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years old. Yep, he was a cute little baby. This was tough working on True Dungeon stuff when I had this at home. I could play with it. He was a happy-go-lucky kid, too.
Did we get his permission to show this? We probably didn't.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not at all. All right. Yeah, he was a fearless. He was nuts. You had to keep an eye on him because he did not have a trepidatious bone in his body. We went to this one time. We went to this like corn maze, and in the barn there was like this 30-foot slide, and he was about 3 months older here, and he went down the thing. And people are gasping. So, wow. Anyway, now we're back to live action. This is again at the Hyatt in 2003.
There's the walls.
There's a bunch of JefCon people. And there's Fritz, Warren's wife, and there's some chests for something. Looks like there. Yeah. So this is just, I guess this is just showing you some of the stuff. And now we're putting up the walls. We had a bridge in one room where you fought an ogre. So we managed to get a platform from them.
There's
and you had to actually go up. Yeah, there's a zip tie. So we actually built a bridge. Unfortunately, we had like one guy fall off of the thing. He wasn't paying attention. So it was a little scary. Yeah. You live and learn with this event. You find out not to put breakables in there, not to give anybody a chance to fall off anything, because they will.
So these poles are future walls, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So here we are. There's Buck. He's always got a drink in his hand, supervising.
Oh, that sounds like something I would do. Point and tell other people what to do.
All right. I don't know who this younger guy is, the skinnier.
Very handsome fella, whoever this is.
I think that's my son, I guess. Anyway, what's happening here? All right, so we're starting DM training. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm showing them this is what will be in your DM kit. Back then we had a little, you see the pouches?
Yeah.
That was for the paladins to detect evil. So if you said, I'm the detect evil, you would grasp that thing. The DMs had a remote in their hand. It was a little vibrating thing, and you would feel it. It was supposed to be really cool. The first time it happened, it was like, what the heck? Yeah, it was cool.
Wow.
But it was very problematic and very unreliable, so it didn't survive very long. Here I am throwing dice, people. So there I am doing the training. Hey guys, let's have some fun. You can probably zoom a little bit.
Or you mean jump around?
So here we are. There's the first.
There's the. Let me back up here. So there's the. Oh, these are the sliders here.
Yeah, you can see the wizard thing right for a second, right there.
Oh yeah, so there's the wizard thing that's part of the board. Wow, how cool is that?
Plus, it had little discs on it that got knocked off a lot. So
and there's the sliders.
So this is basically this is the training room. All there was is you spent 12 minutes in here getting trained. You didn't have tokens. You didn't, there was nothing to do other than just kind of get an idea how the game works and to do your skill tests.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, to not have tokens, people might not understand, well, how did you play? And the answer is the cards. Can you explain that? The class cards?
Yeah, everybody, this is the class card. You'll see them probably eventually when we get to that, some of the photos. But here we are writing the stats on the board. Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. So anyway, I was trying to explain to everybody here. Here's how you do. And you can see in the background some torches. That was the only light that folks had. It was pretty dang dark in there. There's
an example of the card. So that's where the stats came on how good they could do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that was your armor class and your damage, like what slider you used. If you used a square one or hexagon one, octagon one, and some bonus damage. It also for some crazy reason, it also had your birthday on there. That was a clue. It was a future clue for a puzzle. That's why it was on there. Wow. So even then, I was doing sleazy stuff with the handouts.
And meta things that almost nobody was catching.
Yeah, I just paid attention.
Now, did the wizards have spells, and then they would mark them off on the card like they do today?
Yeah, the DMs would actually mark it off for them, and then one thing that was funny was all the characters also had names. And their names started with the first two letters of the season they were born. But I don't think anybody ever noticed that. That was supposed to help the DM.
Wow.
So they all started with FAWISUST.
That is nuts. I mean, what crazy detail.
This was the final room. No, this wasn't the final room. I thought it was. Yeah, this was again, using some of that acetone on foam technology to be able to make some fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This was super high tech back in the day. Got a little puzzle back there, a little magnetic slider. Still have that puzzle, by the way. Anyway, you can keep going if you want.
So that was a puzzle, not a clue?
Yeah, that was a puzzle room. Here I am doing some more explaining. It was, this was one of the puzzle rooms. This is the one where you basically had to realize that this was the Four Seasons scramble, and that the way to go across was to go across on your
wow.
the season you're born.
Did you use this exact floor again, or is this the only time?
We used it at SoCal like 4 months later when we went to Jenkins.
Okay.
SoCal.
You
And I
put
think
on
we
the
used
same
it
show,
again,
right?
like I think we used it again in 2009 when we did retro. There's the hotel guy yelling at us for doing something. I don't know. They were scared of us. They thought we were we were D&D players. They were gonna burn the place down. But,
Yeah.
All right, here's the first. That is right there. That is the first True Dungeon puzzle. I think.
Wow.
This was the first time I knew that I had something, because on the play test the night before when I did it with maybe that was this night. It was probably tonight. I ran Peter, Axon, and Stefan, and some other, and a lady from the hotel. She was like the liaison, and she was really nice. So I invited her along. I thought it'd be good to have like a variety, hardcore gamers, new people, and they came into this puzzle room and they couldn't get it at all, and she got it right away. So that was really awesome that they could see, because it was like she recognized that those were all birthstones, and that the clock was not a clock but a calendar, and so she knew immediately that. So that was great. I was like, hey, this is accessible to anybody. In fact, it's probably better to have a team, a variety of veterans.
Exactly.
It's because you get a different perspective on things. So.
Yeah, I say that all the time. You do want a variety of people. Some people will know about Greek mythology. Some people will know about, something else. So what are we looking at here?
Oh, freeze there. All right,
freeze here. What's this?
Yeah, back in the day, originally the most of the rogue trap that were actually mounted on the wall. It happened for a few years till we put them on the chest. But on this one, we mounted it to the table because my crazy uncle and I made this in my dad's garage, and it ended up by Saturday afternoon catching fire, so it wasn't the greatest job. But anyway, for about a day and a half, it worked, and this was fun. You can see it's on a metal plate, so if you failed on this one, you got a nice shock, because your arm most likely would be resting on that metal plate, and you get a nice shock. But eventually, somehow it melted. This was when I built this. I found out about how capacitors, even though they haven't been plugged in for 2 years, can still hold a charge, and I found that out the hard way. Hand was numb for about 20 minutes after I got a nice.
But you never forgot that, did you?
Yeah, and always use insulated pliers. So learn 2 things there. Anyway.
That is super, super cool. Hacky Channel says this is a true rogue trap. And actually, now that we're paused at, let me jump to the chat real quick. Gilstrife has a question. Will there be a 20th year anniversary t-shirt being sold at JefCon?
Oh, that's probably something you want to ask Lori.
Okay.
She'll probably do that. She's the merch. She's the merch.
Merch.
I try to stay out of there, because if I did it, we'd have like $300 True Dungeon parkas and stuff. So
parkas.
I would just go with the crazy stuff.
Yeah, and John wants to suggest the shirt have all the adventures of the past 20 years, and that's why they're asking. Mackenzie 17. Actually, this is a question from SmackDown. Mackenzie 17. Martin, I guess that's you. Hasn't made the Safehold announcement yet. Maybe he could give us a clue.
See.
What do you think?
Soon.
Soon is the clue?
Have patience.
Okay.
You've already had a lot of patience.
Yeah. So there you go, Mackenzie. Tell Smack.
As soon as we get the player card stuff sorted, we'll be announcing that.
Okay. There we go. And Gilstrife says that he's down for a True Dungeon parka.
Cool.
So that's what this is.
Can you go back 10 seconds?
Sure.
10 seconds.
Maybe I'll jump here.
We jumped.
That was actually 30 seconds. You want to see this wiggle thing?
No, I wanted to go back to where we were on that.
The rogue puzzle?
Yeah. Right there. Okay. You can't see it now. If you can just pan a little bit to the left, go back just a little bit. I wanted to show you one. All right, stop it. All right, well, bad frame, but it's kind of interlaced. But right there, that white thing on top of the little wired chest, that's a barred rune. So back in the day when we first started, the barred runes were just clues as to something that was in the room. So I think that one was might have been a shock. Might have been a shock one. So that was a clue. That's this metal.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's not very clear.
That this would shock you when you're done if you screw up. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that because that's different than the way you do it now. You give them some combat info.
Yeah, now you're not liable for a lawsuit. Do you want to go look at that reflection thing?
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that was back here.
Yeah, this is just another one of the rooms. This was another puzzle. They had there was some clue in there, but basically you had to pick which chest to open. One of them had a key, and the other ones were trapped, big damage. And then what you were supposed to do, let's see if you can see it. We may have to see it in a photo later. No, don't really sure. No, there you go. Freeze frame. If you look in the silver platter, wiggle the look, which makes no sense. And it was fun to watch people wiggle. It actually says look at the middle. So in the reflection. So
how cool is that, people? Huh?
Supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a moon on there. It was supposed to be like you kind of see a crescent moon thing. That was a clue that a moon's reflected, and there's something about reflect on. I don't know. Anyway, and that scroll tube, that was the one I sent Peter. An invitation right there. That's how they looked. And if you pulled off the end, the little pull firecracker went off. Actually, I loaded his with 2 to make it extra loud.
Oh man, what a cool little puzzle here. So there's the moon, maybe.
Yeah. There's the moon. This was called the 5 aspects, and there's the 5 aspects of Gaia, and she had these 5 different personalities, and each room was themed. It had a music score by Tom Gowan for each. The soundtrack, each room had its own a theme, and it was supposed to be a clue that if you listen to the whole, nobody ever got this. This is super meta, but if you listen to the order of the music, the themes, that gave you the order in the final puzzle. So it was one that it was way hard. Nobody got it, but it was fun for me to.
It was fun for you, as long as it's fun for you.
That was fun.
Wow, this is
cool. There's more. Oh, there we are doing more. DM training hasn't changed in 20 years.
So you're just walking through, showing everybody everything.
Yeah, this is the final. This is the final puzzle. This actually was the coolest thing I'd built to date. It had a secret door. Probably not going to see it, but if you want to, all right, let's see if we can get Buck to go out of the way. No. Anyway, there was a right there. You want to freeze it whenever you get a picture of the hole. Anyway, that was actually filled with water, and we had all the lights off and a really bright UV light. And that bottle of stuff was like a UV dye, and it made the water glow like a cloudy purple. So it looked really spooky and cool. You see my decoration there. It was supposed to be outside. That was the one bit of decoration I had at the time. Anyway, you keep going. You can see that there'll be a hand come up. We had this hole in a bowl, and it was radiator clamped around a glove, the black glove. So the black glove was below the water line, and when you reached across to grab the key, if you didn't use your left hand, right there, it came up out of the water, it would grab your hand. And man, that is probably, even today, it's probably the scariest startle in True Dungeon history, because something about it, because it was dark and there was a black light. I mean, there was a lot of shrieks, a lot of jump backs. And this is, if you ever heard the term blue hand, that's for people that kind of work at the back of the event, like puppeteers and people that do animatronic stuff. That's where the term came from, because anybody that did this job, and it was mostly Charles. song, I think. Because he was a small guy at the time, and he was real young, and he was 18. He could fit into this crazy box they built. Anyway, he kept his hand up in there, and the blue dye slowly seeped into the glove. So his whole hand became solid blue, like a Smurf. Later on, so a few other people did it, but anyway, that's where the term blue hand came from.
Wow.
That according to Charles, it didn't come off for like a week.
Yeah,
So,
Bridget in chat, she's says blue hands exclamation point a couple. So there it is. There's where blue hands came from. I mean, how cool is that, people? That is nuts.
Yeah, and there's a secret door. I don't think we'll show it. Maybe I don't remember. But there's on the front. There was a cool. It was one of those push cabinet locks. Yeah, there it is. There's a secret door with a clue. What the heck to do? Yeah.
Let's see if we can grab that again.
It was pretty cool. There it is.
So, how did you find the secret door? You just push it and it just opens?
Yeah, you basically had to. It was, of course, because I made it, and it was 2003. It wasn't that well hidden. It wasn't that secret. Let's just say it was a slightly secret door. It was like a Scooby-Doo secret door with that one colored brick in the back where you like just push that colored yellow brick. It was sort of like that. So some people found it, and there was a clue in there.
And what did this clue help you with? Do you remember?
Well, it was supposed. You're looking for the. You're supposed to do the. There were like these 5 bottles. They're not shown here, but I think you had to pour them in a certain order based on what aspect of Gaia. And there was a clue earlier. You encountered this stone book, and you looked at it, and it gave you a clue, and then you went forward and play with it. So if you took that bookmark back there, or if you went back, it said to go back and look at the book. If we had a blue hand or somebody put another clue in the book. So if you actually went back to revisit, you found another clue came back, and it helped you. But it was a tough puzzle. There were very few, I don't think very many people, maybe 10% got all the way through without dying. Most people died in this room if they got this far. Probably 20%, maybe 25 made it to the final room. So it was back when we had death. So we had people leaving. You can imagine the craziness. You would die in room 3, and then death would come and escort you out, and you would get to see the rest of the dungeon.
So people would want to come back and finish it.
Yeah. I mean, there's Drake again. He's having fun putting his money. He loves to have that dolphin bank, and I think Lori enjoys that to this day. She has it in the laundry room, so she enjoys putting money in it.
That's so cute. Well, that seems like a good spot to stop for. So that was Gen Con. Let me get to this screen and I'll set up the next thing. So we've seen JefCon, which then led to Gen Con in Indy. And we stopped off at, let's see, I think it was...
Photos. But I'll keep talking while you're doing that. So eventually you saw the building we did, and eventually it started, I believe it was 11 to 7 or 11 to 6, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And 11 o'clock rolled around, and there were a few people there to play. Because, again, there was, like, no advertising. We were in the program book as an ad back in the listings.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried. And there were a couple, like, runs with a few people on it. But by about 1 o'clock... enough word had gotten out. I guess enough people had wandered by there that maybe we were staying at the Hyatt or doing another event that we started selling tickets, and that was really for a while there. I was like, nobody's come to this thing. We did all this work.
But just the morning, so just for the first few runs, the first couple of hours, and then it took off.
By 1 or 2, we sold out. So by that time, I think by about 4 o'clock, all the tickets were gone for Thursday.
Wow.
And so we were like, well, I wonder if people are going to show up tomorrow. And then it was crazy coming down I think I came downstairs about 9 o'clock, and I came around the corner, and there was this long, thick line going all the way around. And it was a crazy emotion because that was like really cool oh, this is so awesome. And then it immediately hit me, oh crap, we don't have enough tickets for all these people.
Oh,
I'm gonna
no.
have to tell some of these people they can't play because we don't have enough tickets. And that was the first like time I was like, this is really awesome. Oh no, we don't have enough. So,
Oh, no.
but yeah, I was glad that Raven and Bridget got to play because I guess they got there early enough, 5 o'clock in the morning. Crazy.
I think they were like second or third in line on the second day.
Yeah.
So Bridget,
Yeah.
you could maybe remind me
I
there.
think Raven was there the next day too. Raven was the first like super fan. You know, she was the one I was like, hey Lori, if I ever go missing, check Raven's trunk. She loves this.
Oh, that's nuts. So you actually had to tell people that, sorry, we're sold out like, from here on.
So we started selling, and it was obvious that we weren't going to have enough. But I always tell them come back tomorrow and get here earlier. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was the first unpleasant treat I had to do. Because some of those people probably already been waiting in line like an hour or so. But,
oh man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the same thing happens now. The tickets sell out, and pretty much immediately. So this is where we left off when we were looking at the Gen Con indie photos.
I wanted to start here because this is my favorite puzzle. My dad actually made this stained glass. It was projected from underneath. It looked really cool when it was lit up. And then these goblets were made by a friend of mine, Aaron Boaz, who was like helping me kind of like design this thing from the scratch. He had him and his mom had this like crafting shop where you could go and pour greenware, and he had poured a bunch of these for like I guess it's just like a gift for me, I think, just to have them. They were cool, and he painted them. He's just messing around. That's why they're kind of weirdly painted. But he brought them in, and we were just trying to figure out a puzzle for him, and I accidentally like hit one. I was like, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that, and I hit it with a pencil, and it went ding. And then I hit the other ones, and that one went ding, and they're almost perfectly like 5 notes. It just depends on how long you left the stuff sitting in the mold before they poured out the rest. Anyway, by accident, came up with a really cool puzzle. Still doing that today. But once they figured out the puzzle and I kind of designed this, I went to my dad, and he took him forever. This is all done by hand with tiny little bottles of this stained glass stuff. That looked amazing. I still have this one too. But yeah, this was a fun one. And I was worried because to solve it, people had to bang on it. And I thought it would give it away, but people they were so engrossed in the room before them, they never heard the sound. Or if they did, they didn't register. So yeah, it was amazing that nobody ever, well, at least as far as I know, nobody was like, hey, I just heard this dinging, so we need to ding these things. It was kind of cool.
So your favorite puzzle no one's ever solved? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, people solved this one.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying that nobody ever heard the dings, and it was a giveaway. It was a spoiler.
Oh, so you could solve it like we do now, not the quote unquote right way.
Yeah, I mean there was a wand or something in there that you should hit, or you could use your finger. But yeah, you basically had to order them by the order of the pitch from lower to high, from peasant to king, actually. So.
And did puzzle damage exist at this point?
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, big time. Okay.
It wasn't Eldritch like we do now, but it was like fire.
Right.
Because there was no. I think there was maybe there was a resist fire. The cleric, I don't remember, too long ago, but yeah.
Cool.
Big fun.
In chat, Hacky Channel says this sounds like how PAX West 2019 went with, I guess it's talking about the lines. And Bridget says that Raven and she were the first and second in line on Friday. We actually met her the day before on our initial run. That's essentially where the DDA started. I mean, how random is that? That Bridget and Raven just happened to be in the first run, or the day before, in a run together, and then the rest is literally history. That's just amazing. So that's really cool to hear that your dad made this. And you said your friend Boaz. I recognize that name. Isn't there a legendary token this year with Boaz's name?
There is. Yep.
Very cool. So let's see. So here's a photo.
Yeah.
Oh, and the secret door is easy to see here.
You can kind of see the secret door, and you can kind of see it. Yeah. So some people just saw it. It was a little harder in the dark, but
yeah,
that was cool.
I don't think I would have touched it because to me it looks like it's part of the construction, and I wouldn't want to touch it. But and
there's
here is the rogue.
Yep, there's the rogue. There's the first rogue ever. Stefan Corney. He played it during the play test, and you can see that he took the T-shirt. So
wow, Stefan was the first rogue ever. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm glad we're doing this show. We're hearing all kinds of cool stuff.
Yep. Peter was the first cleric, I believe.
Wow.
So, and there was the first interview, and I still don't enjoy them too much. I wish I was better at them. But,
You're great. Everybody in the chat, what do you think? Is Jeff great in interviews or not? I think.
And I think this was before the old. What was that old gamer show with Morgan and
Morgan Freeman?
No, it was an old. It was on like somebody will tell you in chat. Some old person will tell you. They were. It was the original Game Channel. Morgan and the guy. Anyway, they actually came and filmed it and put it on the show. We were actually on a show, gamer show, which I can't remember.
That's G4. Cool. So who remembers the gaming channel / gaming show with someone named Morgan? Snake Eye says, he's great. That's you, Jeff. Keep doing them. That's you. So I want to comment on this gentleman here. Who are we looking at here?
He is Ash Plummet. He's an old JefCon attendee, and he was a friend. And he was a friend of my brother's. We met in college when he went here to college, and he was our first death. And he was a very friendly death. He would come and take you gently into the good night. And
if you failed at a room and died, he would escort you out.
Yeah, if your character died, you lost all your hit points, which happened a lot. I mean, the first early years. 90% kill rate. I mean, it was only had maybe 20% would even make it to the final room. So would be escorted out. We did that for several years. I just thought it was cooler that way. That way, you're like, if I make it, if I survive, I've done something awesome.
It means something.
So it just got so expensive for folks. I thought we should get rid of it because it's just too expensive to do that. So.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe you said that he has probably volunteered more than anyone else. Is that right? Or
him or Warren Snyder, another guy. Warren's local here, and then Ash is always up for volunteering. He went to all the SoCals. He's only missed a few Gen Cons. So
now I want to comment on this. When I saw these photos, as you can imagine, people who are watching, I saw these before to set them up, and I thought this was a mistake because I know who this is, from he's an NPC. I've seen him before. In 2017 at the True Dungeon Celebration, Death was there, him. And he looks exactly like this. So I think he's got a painting in his attic because he looks the same to me. And he killed me. I came up and he goes, I'm Death, you're dead. So I rolled Drugar's Death die. I think I rolled a 20 on it and he goes, okay, no problem. You're dead again. I was like, okay, well, that's that. So he killed me twice. And you're right. He was very nice about it. He was very nice about killing me. So he's a good guy. Here he is.
Yeah, there's again. Yeah, there is again. And that was his torch. He got that cool torch. Fritz made that. He got to escort people out with that. And then that's Tom Gowan, the guy that did all the music.
This is the music guy, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like it is now. It's every... it was like it was several movements. It was like an hour long. And there was like 5 separate movements that were like 15 minutes a piece or something like that. And you would still hear the Better Get Your Butt Moving song. But instead of hearing like a background, like a ambient track for the room, it was everything. And it was just music. So you had to like compose theme orchestral music. There's the Rogue. That's Larry. But that was...
If for the people who haven't heard about this shirt, what can you tell us of what this shirt is?
Well, the first year there was we had to give the rogue, of course, the roguey choice. Do they screw the party over, or do they help? Do they take the extra healing potion and not tell anybody? But this, he could. At one point, because he's a halfling, they got separated. The rogue had to crawl through this little tunnel, and the rest of the party had to go on. That kind of freaked people out, but it was fun. And then it closed behind the rogue, so they had to keep going around. Anyway, the rogue got in there, and there was a sign that said, "You have a choice. You can either heal your whole party, like 3 hit points, or you get a cool 'I screwed my party for this awesome T-shirt.'"
The choice is clear.
It was funny, man. I'm telling you, like it's so at Indy, it maybe only like 30% of the people took the T-shirt. It was amazing.
Really?
So only about 30%. Yep.
It's the Midwesterners, you know. They were more kind and caring.
Yeah, I can tell you, it was completely flipped 4 months later in SoCal.
Yeah, so. And speaking of SoCal, we're about to get there. Is this
Look
Raven
at that.
here?
That is Raven.
Wow.
That is Raven.
Now, who's this here on the left here in the red shirt?
That was one of her and Dave Radke. That's Heidi.
Yeah, she looks familiar.
They were actually JefCon volunteers, and JefCon lent us 2 other volunteers, and they both helped out front, which was good. We needed the help up front, and there they are. I think this might be just a party leaving and wanting. They might be getting tickets. I'm not sure. But we had those
tickets here. Yeah, very, very, very cool to see some of these old things. Now, what is this line?
Oh, I think that's Bridget next to her. Now that I just saw it. That's the line. That was the morning line.
Oh, Bridget right here? Right? Is this you, Bridget? Yeah. Bridget says this is her. Hi, there's Bridget. Yeah. Bridget and Raven.
So young.
Who are these children?
Anyway, this was the line that we saw that first time. It went down and then around back past the elevator. So there were only like, let's see, there was 24. There was only about 160 tickets available each day.
I see. This is 100 people right here.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, unfortunately, that's probably me getting ready to tell these folks they don't get to play.
From here on, bad news. You're World of One.
Yeah.
In the chat, it says, I want to point out or just get to a couple of people here in the chat. So Chandler put this in the chat, so that means it's fair game. So this is a compliment. Sure. Okay, Jeff?
Whoa.
It's a compliment. I just want to get you ready. It's a compliment. Right. Chandler says, let me find it here. He is better at interviews now than he was initially.
Oh, yes.
See?
Yes. I went from a 1 to a 2. Yes, I've
That's a compliment.
My power.
I'll take it. And he also says, death to room 5, please. Something tells me that was how you got death to come.
Yeah, everybody had radios, and you would hear that. And all the radios were all linked, so you could tell who was killing people off and who wasn't. And you'd hear. And every once in a while, I remember once I heard death to room 1. And I was like, what the heck? You're not supposed to. There's no way to die in room 1. But I went and investigated, and Tom Gowan killed somebody in room 1 because they were like messing around with the props. So he was like, "You're dead. Get out." So,
that kind of you're dead. Get out. Oh, okay. That's funny. So Snake Eyes says that he agrees with me that Death, the guy playing Death, was great. The first True Dungeon Celebration, he was the back Death thing. I think you mean something differently, but yeah, he killed us all. Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler from X-Play on G4 TV.
There you go.
There we go.
If you look somewhere, maybe you'll find it on the internet somewhere. Yeah. Somewhere is a little extra for True Dungeon.
Yep, and Chris Samir says Morgan Webb, so there we go. And now Fred. Hello, Fred. Fred says, please bring the shirt back. I think he wants to screw his party over.
There you go. We did in 2009 when we did our True Realm. You could get it there, I think.
You know, people have sent me T-shirts. I can't remember if anyone has sent me one of those because I wasn't around back then. And Chandler says that we all remember Tom's death to Room 1.
Yes.
So here's death in a very young you. Are you like 25 here? How old are you here?
No, I noticed you didn't say I haven't changed, but
no, I did not say that at all.
That was a mistake, I think. Anyway.
How old are you here?
Let's see. Well, let's go with probably 38.
Really? You look mid-20s here. And this is the final photo. Here's the final photo. This is the 2003 Indy Gen Con volunteers.
Yep, there's most of the volunteers. I think Dave and Heidi are missing because they were like Gen Con, but these are the folks that mostly came with me. There are two people there next to Raven. You see the guy holding up his hand? That's Charles, and he's the first blue hand. Can't really tell, but his hand is tinted blue. And then I think that was Dustin. For some reason, I remember his name. He was from Iowa. He was like somebody on the internet that said he wanted to help. So he was like the first guy that said, hey, I want to help True Dungeon. I don't even know anything about it. And Charles, I think, was sent by Gen Con. But he had a good time. And those are all, most of those folks you saw at JefCon earlier. Wow. And then Raven's in the middle there because she came and she was awesome and she helped us tear down. So we adopted her and told her she was.
Oh, man. That is very cool. So I want to, let me jump to this screen real quick. I want to pull up. So we just saw JefCon, then Gen Con Indy, but Gen Con also went to SoCal. Oh, you know what? There's one more thing I wanted to show here. Sorry. I think people would like this. And this is Gen Con. So this is Gen Con 2003 at the Hyatt in Indianapolis. What are we looking at here?
Even back there, I got a little crazy with the maps. This is a map of the event. I decided to draw it out really cool in Corel Draw. I still do that today.
Corel Draw, what an old program.
It's not bad. It's still going. It's still a good program for some things. Wow. Anyway, but this is all done in Vector. It's nice because I can make it and turn it into an AutoCAD later for Gen Con and other places. So I don't want to do this in AutoCAD, believe me. But anyway, there's the map. It shows you started with a little this little half. Well, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see.
Where's the beginning? Anyway, here's Enter over here on the right hand side.
That was the training room, and we had a little video and got to watch how to set it up, and then there was the first room.
And here's Enter, a tiny little room that says there's a trap.
That room was 6 by 6. No, 8-foot squares. It was 12 by 12 rooms, pretty small, and then you had to fight a skeleton. Again, there were no real monsters, no representation, and all the combat boards were that same, just
this generic is where you form. Entered here.
Yeah, all the combat boards were the same generic guy. And then, we had you walk through. There was a fire glyph on the wall. The bard was supposed to tell you. And I think the magic user had erase as a spell. You could use that to get rid of the fire glyph. If not, right where the little flames are, we had this like rope light and fog machine set up to make it so. That's why there's a star there. The prop guy had to fire off the fire trap.
Oh yeah, I see prop guy up here. Yeah,
came around the corner, and then there was that Four Seasons puzzle. Then you went through the thing, and there were two ways to go. You want to take number 1 or number 2 archway. Number 2, that was we had the DM would follow them, so they'd say pick which one you want, and if they picked the evil one, it was a glyph. The bard was supposed to say, "Don't go in there. That's the evil one." We had a little Instamatic camera, the ones that like manual wind, and then basically the DM would take the picture, and that flash is supposed to be like a glyph of like shock going off. I also got your picture for fun. Impressed. I've got the very first person ever in True Dungeon history to take damage from a trap was Peter Agason. He went in there on that playtest night. I had that picture still.
Oh, no.
So, then if they went to the one, there was the Burststone puzzle.
Wow.
And then you had to kind of, this is where you got separated with the rogue.
Oh, here's the rogue tunnel.
Yeah, you had to go through that whole tunnel.
Right there where it
And
says trap.
where the rogue could come around back behind and backstab the ogre that was guarding the bridge.
And then you go more. There's lots of fire here. Whew.
Yeah.
And then there's a secret room.
Yes, there was a secret door. You had to find the key in the middle, I believe. That was the one that was looked to middle.
Wow.
And then the next one was the cups, where you had to.
Oh, the very cool. Thing. Yep.
Yep. Then you went into this other. This room was really high walls. This was air walls here, and you had to fight the magic user, faceless one, I think. There was a little minor clue there, a little minor puzzle. It only took like a minute, and then you came around the corner and had to fight. And then finally, the final room, where there was that stone book. And then, so you had a prop person that was basically moving that clue back to the back. But if you count those, you'll see 8 rooms, not 7. First year was 8.
Wow. And then you exit, where's the exit? I guess, right here in the north here. You exit north.
Yeah, exit out that way, and then you come into. We had. This is where this is funny. It's like no planets. We figured out later, since we started doing this, that we needed a place to check bags. So this became our bag check area. We got rid of those tables and we shoved them off to the side, and we asked people to fill out a survey to give us feedback, and that was the end.
That's cool. Even at the beginning, you were doing that. So now. Next up, let me pull up. So this was all Gen Con Indy, but some people, some people may not know that I didn't know. I actually thought it was different years, but the same year you went to Gen Con SoCal, and that's what these photos are.
Yeah, that was in December, early December of the same year. After I think it was like Saturday morning. Lori and I had lunch or breakfast. I'm sorry, with Peter and his wife at the time, and he said, "Hey, everybody loves your event. I want you to come to SoCal. Let's do it." So I was like, "I'll talk to the guys," and he's like, "Let's do it." So there's the rogue tunnel. We didn't get to see the picture of it in Indy, but here it is at SoCal, and that is I won't say her name. She may not want me to, but she was the meanest DM we ever had. She was awesome.
You do like the death and mayhem, and this is where their shirt came from. And Snake Eye says that he thinks that I bought one of his shirts. That sounds familiar. And
this is where the tokens premiered. So after the
at SoCal,
at SoCal. So we were like, hey. We got XP, we got all this other stuff, but the thing we don't have that's quintessential D&D is treasure. So let's do some treasure. That'd be awesome. And basically we gave everybody a random. I believe we gave everybody a random pack at the beginning, or no, it was like 3. I think it was just 3. They got a weapon. Anyway, for Gen Con, SoCal was the first place, and we had these cool little boxes made up with colored labels. We sold them at the event, and then we also Gen Con was cool enough to sell it at their table as well. I think we sold about 100 of these bags at that event. I'm pretty sure it was about 100. So that's when it started.
That's another reason why these are impossible to collect. I have, and I've said this a bunch. I'm missing 6 uncommons and 22 rares from 2003. So you only sold 100 packs or so.
Yeah, I believe it was around 100, maybe 120 at the most. I remember.
Jeez.
I could probably find a record of it somewhere, because I remember them sending me a reconciliation, like, we owe you this much money because we sold this many of your children.
Yeah, well, I mean, this has just been impossible to collect, and for you'll see here in one of these one of the tokens, it says True Dungeon Treasure, and at the bottom it's blank. There's no symbol there, so that's how you know it's a 2003 token. Now, what are these boxes? Oh, these are the pieces of treasure, right? The treasure kits.
Yeah, this is what they came in the bags. I call them treasure kits for some reason. Thought that was a cool name. And we put the bags inside these boxes and sealed them up with the colored stickers. So that's, and then there's a little inside was a little trifold thing. You can barely see it, but back then, the first year, we called them common, rare, and very rare.
Yeah. So I got actually one of these little pamphlet things a year and a half ago or so. I got one from SmackDown. I treasure it. It's so cool. I think I put it even up on the Trent Tokens Presents True Dungeon History. It's a really cool thing to have.
Yeah. Again, this is one of the rooms. We didn't get to see it earlier, but yeah, this was that treasure room. And here we are putting the packs together. They just came in boxes. Like there was a box of rares, and these were all printed locally at a local shop. And then we just got the boxes and stuffed them in those gray bags. Those were cool, like foil stamp bags.
Yeah, those bags are cool. I have one of each of the different years, but yeah, these 2 boxes is what I need. So, like I said, check your check.
You can only go back time. Grab that box.
If I could turn back time. So speaking of turning back time.
Oh.
This is cool. So that's the you keep calling it the something puzzle. What do you keep calling it?
Seasons puzzle. So I don't know if you can tell, but if you go long ways, I don't know if you've ever but all the seasons have 6 letters. I guess this is 6 letters. So if you went down straight, it was like an anagram type thing. But there was summer, winter. I think if you go from the right to the left, it's summer. I think summer, autumn, winter, and spring. So basically based on whatever your birthday was on your player card, that's when you were supposed to go down.
Oh my God. Did anyone get this right ever?
I think so. Yeah.
What a leap. You crazy, man. You crazy.
And even your name, like I said, the name was the clue, because the name was a lot bigger than the birthday. It's too hard for the DM to read, but the name was big. We actually gave the characters names, and the first 2 letters of their name was the season that they were born in.
Wow, that is leaping lizards there. Tom points out that I'm visibly struggling while looking at all that treasure. Yeah, because 2 of those boxes have what I'm missing. I'm fine. I'm okay. Everything's fine.
Oh yeah, I probably threw away a lot of those because we didn't sell.
Come on,
come on, man. Come on. There's a line here, people.
Some people's
children. Oh, and looks like we had 2 different colors too. We had the gray and we had like a maroon.
Yeah, there's Anna Black and I don't know if there's a brown or not, but then you went to the spider bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bags are very cool.
That's Diana Davidson. She's awesome. She was our first NPC ever.
Really?
She's actually like a real actor. Her and Tom live in New York now, and she does commercials and plays and stuff. She's really good.
Who would have thunk it? There is the first NPC of True Dungeon. How about this for the greatest episode ever? Oh wow, very cool.
There she is. She also did the voice work on Tom's award-winning True Dungeon parody short that won the JefCon Film Festival.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
she's the person playing the person at the counter. So anyway,
cool. Yeah.
There's the crew. I'm slouched down like that because my brother was trying to hide behind me. The guy with the beard is my brother, so I was like.
So over your shoulder is your younger brother.
Yeah.
To your left is Radke.
Yes.
Your brother is behind the long-haired woman in the middle. Your older brother.
Yeah, the meanest DM,
with the goatee.
Ever. Yep.
And do I recognize? Oh, there's Death again.
Yeah.
And who else can you point out here?
Oh, next to my brother with the beard, that's Jeff Brummel. He's been around forever. And then Levon, he's married to Diana Davidson. And then Warren Snyder, he's got the glasses. He's a local. He's done more work for True Dungeon than anybody ever. He used to come in every Saturday and help me. Fritz came in too and helped me put together all the props for years and years and years. So then there's my brother, Greg, older brother. Then next to him was James. He's the guy that worked for me at my sign shop. He's a really cool dude and a nerd, and he wanted to help. And then Dash, he was a local, I think, another volunteer over the internet. And Ash. Then there's Stu. He was a great volunteer for many years. Lance and last name is Huff. I can't remember his first name. Those two guys. Patrick Kelly, he's a childhood friend. Grew up next door to him. The guy in the Cubs hat. So, yeah, all good folks.
Wow, cool. So this is JefCon SoCal 2003. Yeah. But let's see if we can get to some 2004 things here. So here, let's look at 2004. So,
all right. So now we're in the same spot. And now we really pushed the limit on what we could fit. We made the rooms bigger and more fun. And this was the room that had a giant big room at the end with the big giant idol, like from the cover of the first edition Player's Handbook. Who remembers that? And we had our first themed storyscape type area. We had an introduction by Gary Gygax, which was awesome. He did the video introduction, which was played outside in the on deck circle. We had a little on deck, and we had a computer there. It was really awesome. I was able to go up to his house in Lake Geneva, and he recorded it for me. It was really great. He also did a video for us too, just to say thanks to all the volunteers. But we had a tavern in the yellow there, and we got pictures later. But this is the dungeon. Lots of fun stuff.
Very, very amazing. And speaking of that Gygax video, I got a copy of it, and I might do a kind of a watching episode of that.
Sure. Music by Tom Gow.
Yeah.
Yep. So here's just some of the rooms. This is our big chasm. Wish they still had those.
This is really cool. I mean,
yeah, it looked cool in the dark. It's supposed to be a cave, so you can see some stalagmites in the background. But yeah, we had fun. They opened there's an urn there, and they opened it up, and it had those pull string firecrackers in there too, and it went off, and then you had to fight like an air elemental, and it could knock you off a bridge. This is fun. Tom, you can see the keyboard there.
Yep.
This was a little imp that you talked to. This was big time. You see the size of that monitor. Yeah. This was like something we had to rent for like $1,000. This is a big tech back in 2004.
Wow.
And he had it rigged up where the thing would talk to you. And I recorded Gary Gygax making a bunch of smart aleck comments, and I have it still somewhere. But we had it set so he would interact with the party and say stuff. We just took Gary's voice and like made it higher pitched.
Yeah.
And it was really funny.
This definitely is older technology. I think that's
Tom did all this. Tom did all the tech on this, and it was our first like animated monster. You were supposed to. This is on top of like a pentagram thing, and you were supposed to basically free him so he could lay in. And then his name was Rodney. It was named after Aaron Boaz had a magic user that had a imp familiar. So we decided to bring him into this old school. So.
That's so cool how your friends from many years kind of are part of the game as well. Chandler says that he smells stew. Chandler says Rodney the Imp.
Yeah.
Now this is True Dungeon and also True Heroes, which we're going to talk about after this. And here's some more volunteers.
So this is Lance and Jen. They were great folks from Milwaukee. They did a bunch of work for the event. They played and really wanted to get involved. They were involved like theater and stuff, which they had a lot more experience in doing stuff. So they helped out and made a lot of walls and did some great stuff for us.
Cool. Yeah.
But that's them unloading everything. We're unloading here.
Yeah, it looks like a blue hand. That's kind of a fun shirt.
It was Blue Hand Crew, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And now this is impressive.
Oh yes, this was our first like real like monster in a dungeon. Before this, you just imagined that you saw something. We spent our huge. I think this thing was like $700. We called it. We named him Molten. We still have him. He has TPS reports now in the office.
So let me make sure I heard you right. This is the first monster creature
monster.
that was physical.
Yeah.
Everything else was just in your head and on the sliding board.
Yeah.
Wow.
We spent a big part of our budget on this thing. This thing was expensive, and it was
Unbelievable.
really cool. It was the first time you got to see a real monster in person, and then it looked really neat.
So Bridget says to not touch Jen's cheese, but Chandler
Yes.
also says 2004 is when the best volunteers started. Would you agree with that?
I would think that is an accurate statement. Yes.
Wow. Even after he complimented you so nicely earlier.
Yes.
There you go, Chandler.
That's when Chandler started.
I'm sorry,
Just
go
to
ahead.
tell you real quick, Chandler's been helping out since 4. He was a friend of Dave's who just came along because he was at JenCon. But so Dave was kind enough to bring Chandler along, and also a few other, Brian Kelly and Mike Bowski. They helped out for a few years, and then it became. I think Mike moved and didn't help out much anymore. But yeah, so this is the first tavern. This is the first Storyscape. People came in here and waited. This was awesome. I love this.
Oh my God. We
This
got to
is
bring this
really
back,
cool.
Jeff. We got to bring this back.
We just didn't have the space for it later on. But this was fun. You got to come in here and sit down in this tavern and wait, do your training and stuff. It's kind of like the on deck circle kind of thing. And we did have NPCs kind of in here. It was funny because you know how gamers are. There was a guy that was in there and he was selling beholder eggs for like tokens. And he was giving them like marbles. I had no idea who he was. People are like, I have this beholder egg and I want to use it. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You got swindled. So it was kind of funny.
Oh my God. Well, just like a normal tavern. Good.
There you
Dungeons
go.
and Dragons.
Just
Love it.
Magical.
Yeah, here's some magic
magical
beans. This is crazy. We have got to do this again.
Yeah, Jen Huff and Lance Lamont built this.
I've heard so many stories about how much fun this was. I wonder.
There's just some
we'll game for
folks
food.
again. Yeah. And there's Jen.
Yeah, this
she
is
made
Jen,
that statue. Yep. And then there's a fireplace we had. It was a pretty cool upgrade for sure. One of the rooms. This is the famous crazy room. I think there's a better picture later, but this was a fun one. There was some. There's a wooden necklace that you had to do something with. But there you can see more. We also had like this little magic corner thing going on.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm trying to find that photo of the. Oh my God! What
Oh,
is
and
this?
this was fun. Jen and Lance spent a long time making this thing up. There's just a bunch of funny, weird little notes, and there was a couple clues in there for the dungeon. I
Got
don't
it.
remember much about it. There was this. So yeah, if you got there early, you could sit here for like a half an hour and read all these notes, have some chuckles, but you might also find a few clues.
That's super cool. I never heard about that. So there's the magic corner. I mean, the tavern is just insanely cool. Here's more people. Oh, Bridget, right? Bridget, this is you?
Yeah. It's the crew.
Oh, and this is what's his name? He still plays, right? So I think these three people I recognize.
Yeah. Jason.
Jason.
Yeah.
I was
Kept
like,
his
Jason,
shirt on.
okay.
He kept his shirt on this one, which is good.
Chandler says the dungeon masters would go to the tavern and grab the parties from there. Yeah, Jason there.
Yeah.
So Jason's actually in the chat. Yeah, Jason. So.
Yeah, Candace's in there, and a bunch of good folks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, now I see the face. Yeah, I'm not good with people's real life names. We got this again.
Yeah, one of the monsters in there was a giant spider. So we had this. It was a ethereal spider, and it would basically the last person entering like room 3. We had a blue hand that would grab them and say, "Come with me. You've been captured by an ethereal spider." And they would skip the bridge room because the bridge room killed a lot of people. A lot of people died there, and they got knocked off that bridge and died instantly.
Wow.
So they were lucky they got to miss that room because I think probably half the deaths of that dungeon were in that room. It's pretty brutal. So then they later on when the party came through, they would half the time the party would notice that player was gone for, a room or two. So they missed they got to watch we had a closed circuit TV though with a camera, and they got to watch them, see what they were doing. And then when they got to this room, they got behind this supposed to be webbing, and they had to like scream, and then we had a blue hand with silly string up on a ladder, and basically you try to shoot the people coming in. It was supposed to. There was a spider. It was supposed to be webbing, and we had people doing dives to get out of the way. It was pretty nuts. We went through a lot of silly string.
Oh my God, that is nuts! Imagine not knowing one of your party members was gone, and then you go to the next room and they're there. I mean, how strange.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've done that once. I think we did that at True Realm too. I want to do it again, but it's a little tricky to do it. But maybe we'll do it.
I think thumbs up on that. That's amazing, especially if it's the last person. People, because by the time you're getting in, you're not really looking behind you. You're like, oh, is there a clue? You're soaking in the room. Yeah. The somewhat similar was at when was this? Oh, I can't remember when, but it was a gelatinous cube, a cube. The first person that went in, I believe, was sucked into the cube, and then you had to free them. So that was super cool. More of
Molten. Really proud of that. We took a lot of pictures of that because it was like half the budget. Here's the riddle reveal. So this was early. I mean, it got more full than this. It was a big deal back in the day because there was really no internet to speak of yet. Any way to find out any of the answers.
So some might not know what the riddle reveal is. What is the riddle reveal?
Well, on Sunday, I believe.
Sunday at noonish.
Something like that. It varied. I'd get up and meander on and talk about the dungeon for a while. And here I would elicit a lot of moans and groans when I revealed the puzzle stuff. So
that's so
that was fun. It was a chance for the community to get together and kind of, you're sharing it with, a handful of other people. But when you go to this thing, you get to share the whole thing with a big group of people.
But this thing is enormous. I didn't know what this photo was. I thought it was just a random photo of the convention. The riddle reveals that I've seen are like 20, 30 people, maybe 40, but this is nuts. So that's pretty amazing. Oh, well.
Yeah, I'm thinking about there's Rodney. So not only did Tom make that computer thing, but he also sewed that doll. He made that doll, and he put he had this recorder in there, this player that if he pressed his stomach, he would play like he would say, "I smell poo-poo," which was Gary Gygax's voice. That was Gary Gygax's voice. So I got that somewhere still. I think the button doesn't work anymore, but Drake really liked Rodney there. And there he is with his wiggle doll. I believe that is Jeff. No, that's Anthony, of course, Blue. Anyway.
Wow. I think Drake is quite the inspiration for True Dungeon.
This was more the magic shop in the tavern there. Everything was like labeled. Of course, nothing was really for sale. It was just kind of a fun thing.
See, but part of the atmosphere. That's super cool, though.
Yeah.
Wow. And here's the shot I was looking for. Here we go.
Yeah.
What a great shot this is.
Shot. In this, you can see that there was a necklace, and the gist of this was to do something.
So for people who don't know, what are these wooden blocks? And I have a set of these. I just got one of these.
It's a necklace, and you do something. I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Maybe someday, but
so you do something with it.
Yeah. And you can also see if you look down at the bottom. A little like cube, go to the right. Can you go to the right?
Oh, you know what? You're
See a cube. You can see a clear cube. Anyway, you can see a clear cube on a little ice cube
yeah,
thing.
right
That
there.
was the light. If you used a light spell, we had a light scroll. You used a light scroll, you got one of those to use throughout the whole dungeon. Otherwise, the whole team just got one of those lousy torches. So it made it a really difficult. It made it much more team oriented because you had one light and you had to basically use it. It was a resource to manage well. If you couldn't share well, the party didn't do too well because it was like
that's a huge thing with True Dungeon. You gotta share and play together. Do you still have any of these pieces?
Got them all, I believe.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
And maybe this is teardown or setup.
Yeah, this is us just tearing down or building. This is so. This time, instead of parking in the street, they allowed us to actually park in the loading dock, which was helpful. But they had no elevator, so I was like, "Who puts in a loading dock and no elevator?" So we actually still had to carry them up the service stairs. What's funny is that we on the teardown, we basically made a human chain down this 3-story stairwell, and we just handed stuff down. It was like a fireman's carry. So yeah, that was fun. I was like, I got an idea.
Yep, that's smart.
Yep. Instead of because anything I can do to not go downstairs is what I want to do. So,
I'm with you there. And this group is
again, it's DM training, more DMs. You guys see more familiar faces there. There's Stu O. Boy, he looks young. He still looks young, but he looks younger there. We're putting up the piece. This is one. These were steel walls, and this is one of the first flips. Didn't go as planned, so we had magnets on the back of these.
Oh, they did stick. Cool.
So we ended up having to tape them or something, I think. Anyway, there's Lance putting up some stuff again. So there was Rodney, and you had to free him.
Yep.
You had to basically it was a puzzle. You had to you had to get this gem somewhere inside that. They were bouncy gems, but there was a sleaze to do it with. I won't give that one away. There was a way to get it there without it. And then, there was the final room with that. You had, there were 3 combat boards, and that was crazy. And you were supposed to find out at the end that this was the story of that player's handbook. There's Chris, he was a big volunteer.
Okay.
And there was, can't see him, but there were holes. You had to reach your hand into that altar. This was just the prop room. More people putting stuff up.
Now, this starts to get into the hero stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many of these we have. Yeah, we're setting that up. There and me looking really bored. All right, there we are building our first. So
this is the True Heroes. So let me go to the True Heroes folder. So for those, there's only a few of these. For those that don't know, what is True Heroes?
Well, the fine folks at Upper Deck were coming out with like a Marvel superhero collectible card game. They big fans of True Dungeon, and they wanted me to do a comic book version. And I was a big comic book nerd growing up, so I'm like, cool. So we did for a couple of years. We ran this thing called True Heroes. It was more simplified than True Dungeon. You were playing actual, characters like the Avengers or the X-Men or whatever. Had a lot of fun with that. Got to use all the official Marvel stuff. It was really neat. We got some pictures later on. You can see of how it was. We did some awesome artwork with good comic book illustrated walls. Here's like here's how you did the combat. You could do like 2 points of damage. We had these little magnetic balls, and you had to throw them. And if you got it to stick in the red, you get 2 points, I think, and the yellow was 1.
Wow. So now, were you playing these characters? Was someone the thing, or were you fighting the thing?
Well, I don't. No, I think these were supposed to be scrolls. I don't remember. For some reason, you're fighting these characters, or they were a mind control or something. But
got it.
Something.
Yeah, the artwork.
And these are
really
cards.
Nice.
These are actually cards in the game that we added. A little
mutant suck. That's funny.
So
I think both of those words are spelled wrong.
Yeah, I was supposed to be the joke, not a high intelligence person. So anyway, yeah, that was the room. So it looked really
Oh,
cool.
the
We had really,
Sentinels.
yeah, it's Sentinels and
Wow.
yeah, it was interesting. So and then of course, we had some high tech. We could use some high tech puzzles. Again, this was years before escape rooms ever came along. So this was like the first kind of. This is funny. This is kind of the first ever like modern escape room type puzzles that you see today at all these escape rooms. That if you put we did this fake thing. If you put your hand on there, it scanned it, and I forgot the exact puzzle, but this was fun because it was modern technology that I got to use to make puzzles.
I can't recall the article, but there's some article, I think it's about escape rooms, and in the article, I mean, it's like a real article at a real place, like a legitimate, publication, and in it, I'm sure you remember what I'm about to say, it says that you created the first escape room, that true dungeon.
Yeah.
So that was really impressive to read.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's a really, really cool idea. And I think several people have had it over the years in different media. So I just happened to do it this time for games and kind of things. So yeah, it's nice. It was nice when they came along. So it's easy to explain what the heck I was doing. And once the escape room got known, I could say, it's like an escape room, but we also have like combat and scares. And
yeah.
kind of things. So. Yeah,
this is really cool. So, but you don't do this anymore. So,
right. Yeah, eventually we lost the backing of Upper Deck, and basically, if they didn't want to sponsor us, then we couldn't do it anymore because we didn't have the rights to use all the
I see
IP and stuff. We could have came up with our own monsters and our own characters and all that stuff, but I think at the time we just wanted to concentrate on True Dungeon.
Right, understood. So that is the last photo. So we went over JefCon, we went over Gen Con 2003 in Indy, Gen Con 2003 in SoCal, 2004, which was Indy and SoCal, right?
I think we still might have some SoCal 2004 maybe that we didn't go over.
Did we?
I don't.
We went through those.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we went through those as well.
Awesome.
And
thanks for listening to me ramble for the last hour. And sorry this was more structured, but I just thought this would be just kind of a great way to do it.
No, it's very cool.
The big thing about the first few years, I guess, just to kind of close up, was that's when we were at the Hyatt, and it was real small. We could only really do one adventure, and then eventually, after the second season was over, I was able to go to Seattle and meet with Gen Con and WotC. They were sponsoring us at the time, and we were able to convince them to move us over to the Marriott, which was from 8,000 to 20,000 square feet.
Wow, that's a big jump.
That's what I really wanted to do, was at least two adventures, so that we could get more tickets for everybody. And because we just, it's a funnel. You need more. If you want to add more people, you got to get another funnel, because there's no way to get more people through it. So that was really great that they were able to do that and get us there, and that allowed us to keep growing and growing and growing. So Marriott was it's when we took a step up and went crazy. But I really liked those first 2 years, because it was just me and friends from JefCon. And eventually we added more and more people, because we had people play, and they want to play. They want to help volunteer, like Raven and those guys, and some of the guys from Kentucky. They helped out that second year, and Stu came along, and Chandler came along, and that was a lot of fun. And you can tell by the way we designed the dungeons, like grabbing people in room 3 and having them show up again in room 6. That we were having a lot of fun, and it was a little less serious, and it was actually kind of more fun in some ways, because you didn't have to worry about keeping everybody super happy. It was more just like, I think later on they were happy after they found out that they got to miss a deadly room with the bridge. But at the time, some of them weren't too happy missing out on a couple of rooms. So anyway, it was a good time, and it was really great to just do it. Those are the years when I knew everybody. Like it was all just a close knit group. After probably moved to the Marriott, I remember the first time walking through JefCon. For some reason, I was walking down the hall and I saw somebody coming down the escalator with a True Dungeon volunteer shirt on, and I had no idea who they were. And that was like time. That was like, whoops, something's kind of changed here.
Yeah,
it's cool. We get to make more fun for more folks, but it kind of shifted there, and it was not just me and friends and some cool other little folks, but it was fun. And I look forward to next time we can talk about the Marriott years, however many we want to do there, and how that all changed and more folks came along. And
yeah, we'll do that next. So episode 2, we'll start with 2005, and we'll see how far we get. But before you depart, let me check the chat here. Okay, I'd love to see. So Tom says that he would love to see the TD panels at the conventions we go to. Fred would love the riddle reveal to come back. Chandler was talking about a previous picture where the 3 combats was really rough. 2 could be rough, so I can imagine 3. Fred had never heard of True Heroes. I heard about it a while back, but I hadn't seen these cool photos. What a wonderful walk down memory lane. I mean, you could see the scrappy beginnings of this, but even still, the work that was put into the props and the walls, it was still very impressive, because you're basically at a convention center walking on carpet, and it's kind of an industrialized space, but then you walk into this very cool room. I could imagine people just their minds being blown. I mean, my mind is still blown when I go to things today. And Tom shouts you out and says that Jeff Martin, inventor of the escape room. Bridget says, this was an awesome blast from the past. Thanks so much, Jeff and Trent. Can't wait to see future episodes. Thank you for watching, Bridget, and the same for everyone. Tom also thinks this was fantastic. Looking forward to the more retrospective. John says he really enjoys this, learned so much, love all the insights and the development of TD. And Hacky Channel says, yes, friends we haven't met. I agree. So, Jeff, thank you so much. This has been an amazing treat. I mean, we got to hear phrases like the first NPC, the first monster. I mean, one of your favorite puzzles, if not your most favorite puzzle. I mean, those are just things that you just don't expect to hear. So you're a gem. You're one of the best, and thank you for being you. And I look forward to our next show together, buddy.
All right. Thanks for having me, and thanks for putting up with the last hour and a half of me droning on about the old days.
The old days. Well, there's more to come. And thank you again, Jeff. All right. You have a good one. I'll see you the next time.
You guys be good. Thank you.
All right, well, there you have it. That was Jeff Martin, the creator. We just went through all kinds of things, 2003, 2004, JefCon, True Heroes, all kinds of wonderful things. And, of course, I just pulled up my little notes. I was using that on the same screen where I had the pictures, and I forgot the YouTube thing. Please click the like and subscribe and forward and sharing with your friends and enemies. It'd be good for the show. Thank you all very much for watching live, and if you're watching this not live, thank you as well. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoyed this show. It was one of my most favorite already, I can tell. So what a treat, and we're going to be doing more of these episodes, and I hope to see you then. And don't forget one of my favorite sayings: it's very hard to frown when you're smiling, so please smile.